A lot of people think that the trombone is sloppy, that it can't articulate fast, that it's always behind the beat. But what if I told you that's a lie? And what if I told you that the truth is, with the right technique, that the trombone can actually play cleaner than a trumpet or a saxophone? Today I'm not just going to tell you that, I'm going to prove it to you, and once you see this, you're never going to be able to look at the trombone the same way again. So let's be real. The reason people doubt the trombone is because a lot of trombone players, they haven't trained to play with clean articulation the right way, so they skip this step. One of the reasons they do that is because it's easy to overlook this. So with valved and keyed instruments, what that does is it gives players a mechanical precision. So you push a button and you get a note. You press a key, you get a note. However, here's the catch. The mechanical shortcut that these other instrumentalists have, it creates mechanical limitations. So once we have an awareness of this, watch what happens. You can unlock a potential you never knew was possible. Now on the trombone, you are the valve, you are the mechanism, and that gives you complete control. The way you could look at this is professional race car drivers. There's automatic and there's a manual. What do they prefer to drive on? Manual. Why? Because they get more control. And you can look at the trombone as almost like a manual instrument, and the other instruments are more like an automatic instrument. So once we know that, the trombone can actually give you more control. And there's not just in cleanliness, there's also in intonation wise too. This is one of the advantages of the trombone. It has the potential to be 100% in tune compared to a lot of other instruments. The slide gives you total control. And I want you to think about it. It's not a slower instrument. It's just a manual instrument. And that means that you control the articulation, you control the timing, you control the pitch, you control the style. You're manual. So you're like a race car driver driving manual. It doesn't filter through buttons or springs. It's all you. And when you are the engine, what it does is you can be cleaner, faster, and more precise than any mechanical action. So let me show you how to build this. The way to get this going is you just want to start on one note. The reason that people don't quite get the cleanliness factor of the trombone together is because we have to treat this instrument differently. Because we don't have keys and we don't have buttons, we want to be in a situation where we isolate getting one note clean first. When we do that, we just add another note. And I'm going to show you this. This is how you do it. This is the best way. So I'm just going to play one note, and then I'm going to do like quarter notes, then I'll do like eighth notes, then I'll do like triplets, and I'll do 16th notes. And I'm just going to really focus on making sure every note sounds completely even. Completely centered and even. And I'm just going to do this on one note, and I'm not going to ever go on to any other note until I feel good about this. So this is how I'd practice this. I would just make sure everything was clean, and I want to get all caught up in scales or nothing, because we need to get really clean on one note first, and then you can start adding the other notes. And what this does, when you do it this way and you just focus on the one note, it allows you to have an awareness, and it allows your muscle memory to remember how to approach this. So this is the thing about the trombone. The trombone is we got to articulate every single note. That's what we're doing. It's the manual mode. Like the valves and the keys, it's our tongue. So we're articulating every single note. And because of that, we have to strengthen this in a way that the other instruments, they can get away with. They can just blow air and they can just play valves, keys, and the piano players, they can just go. So we got to exercise the tongue. It's the most important thing. And the way we do this is on one note. Once it's cool, then you just add one other note. So what I would probably do to start this out is I would just go down a half step and just go back and forth and get it really clean. And it would be very simple. And this is what I would do next. Something like that. And then I'd also do it on major scales. So I'm just kind of playing around there and adding different notes, and that was a kind of expedited version of it. If I were to really be practicing this, I would only go one note at a time up and then kind of mix and match and practicing on different articulations. I practice things on the syllable da, practice things on the syllable ta, to all the different syllables, because it exercises different parts of your muscles. When our tongue gets exercised and it has the ability to articulate, what happens is our slide can't catch up with the way that our tongue has grown. And what that allows is there's a delay. There's a delay from the way the articulation of the tongue has been grown, and the wrist is not catching up with it. So we have to practice that. So the way I'm doing the slide there, it's almost like you're just using this thumb, using these two fingers, and you're gliding it to get to the note right at the right time that the articulation happens. And you practice this slow. You have to match it up. So all of this comes from practicing it slow. And once you practice it slow, your body's going to start to remember it. So think about it this way. You could do, like, there's an infinite number of ways you can create these exercises. You could do like quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes on one note, then add another note. And if it gets messy, you just go back. That is the factory. This is where clean tone is built. And we just add one note at a time. So you could go like the neighboring notes, like up a step or down a half step. And you just repeat it. And you sync the tongue and the slide like clockwork. And you just practice it like that. And when you do it correctly, you can do all kinds of things with your air, which I'll talk about in another video. So each new note when you're adding this equals a new level of discipline. So you're literally training your body to be more precise than a machine. The way that I learned all this is I just did one note at a time. And if you do two, you'll be able to play cleaner than people with valves and keys. However, because they were able to play with valves and keys, they're not as good at certain things that trombone players are. So trombone players have really good articulation. Watch a situation where in a chart, everything is all this articulation written, and then give it to a sax player. You're going to hear a lot of them fumble through it because they haven't quite exercised the tongue. They're used to just blowing through things. But if you had like a 16 note passage with different articulations, watch them get through it. Not as well as the trombone section. It's a lot of mindset and it's a lot of awareness. So you don't need the buttons to be clean. You just need control. You need patience. You need discipline. And I just want to show you on the piano just like what I mean by, like, listen. I'm going to switch the cameras and we're going to listen to the piano. I just want you to hear the mechanisms that work on the piano so you can hear that there's an extra step in those instruments. I just wanted you to hear the hammers at work on there. So you could hear the hammers having to work, right? So that's a whole other element. We should take advantage of that. We should have an awareness. So if you follow what I gave you, the trombone has the potential to be the cleanest instrument on stage, not the sloppiest. Like the other was to rely on the valves. We got manual mode. And because we got manual mode, we can go to a mastery level that some of the other instruments, it's a little more challenging for them. So if this flipped the switch in your brain, comment below with the word clean and subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to show you how to play lines cleaner than a saxophone player. Paul the Trombonist, if you're new here, welcome. Appreciate you guys. Oh yeah. And when you remove the mechanical delay, you become the engine. And there's no cleaner instrument on earth than the trombone. And I'm on a mission to prove that to as many people as possible. So if you want to join me on this mission, let's go. Take care.